Hello everyone, welcome to the preview show delivered by FedEx Racing. I'm your host Alan Cavana, joining me as always, Marty Snyder from TNT. How you doing?
I'm glad we got the chase underway.
We are.
You know what? No controversy this week yet.
Not yet.
We'll give it a day or so, but
still
yeah,
early.
no, it's a nice week to not have other stuff to talk about. Let's talk some racing.
It was good to have racing. It ended up being the 12 hours of Chicagoland all day Sunday and into the early morning on Monday if you're an East Coaster. But when it was all said and done, it was Matt Kenseth in victory lane. If that doesn't say
Someone said that on this show.
This guy.
Because I got to pick first.
I won $1 from our cameraman, Chuck
you
Bush,
did.
too.
Very nice.
But if that doesn't say statement win, Marty, I don't know what does to start it off like that.
Well, and it was a critical win for that race team because they know they kind of had to hold serve at the mile-and-a-half racetracks. We talked on the show last week that I think Matt Kenseth the favorite to win the championship because they're so good at the mile-and-a-half racetracks. And so they knew that at these 5 racetracks, you have to take advantage while you can. When they go to a place like Chicagoland, they need to take advantage. They did, max points. And I don't think any coincidence that those Joe Gibbs racing cars finished 1-2 either.
Yeah, and for much of the race, we saw Matt Kenseth, Kyle Busch, and Jimmy Johnson 1, 2, 3 in some order. And we've seen that all year they've been the best 3 drivers. We get to the first chase race, and they're the top 3 for most of the race. Yeah. Is that a coincidence? I mean, bring me into the garage. Do they have special stuff for the chase, or how does it work?
No, they bring the same stuff they've had all year long, but what does happen is they apply it a little bit better. You see the cream rise to the top of the mile-and-a-half racetracks because that's the good guys. Those are the guys who clearly are very good all season long. The one thing I'll go back to, Alan, that we talked about a few weeks ago here on the show was, remember how Joe Gibbs Racing approached the chase this year? No brand new cars in the chase. They're bringing them all out before the chase. So I think Joe Gibbs Racing approached it the right way this year. And I knew that we would see Jimmy Johnson kind of return to form, but I don't think they had, at the end of the day, that closing ability that we talked about. They didn't close as well as the 20 car did at Chicago. I don't think that'll be the case through all 10 races, but that is a point we need to keep watching in these 10 races.
And let's look at the points because not all the big drivers had great nights on Sunday. You've got the top 6, Kurt Busch, he moved up with his good run on Sunday night. But then we see the drivers who had a little trouble. We'll go to the next page because we have Gordon, Newman, Boyer, Kane, and Biffle. And then at the bottom now, Logano and Dale Earnhardt Jr., Blue Motors in the race. They now find themselves in a huge hole after one race. Marty, are they done in terms of a championship?
I don't think they're done, but see, here's the problem, Alan. If they do want to win the championship, they're going to have to win a lot of races. So let's look at this year. Have Joey Logano or Dale Earnhardt Jr. been able to win a lot of races? I don't think so, and I think that's going to be their biggest problem. You really have to average almost a top 5 finish in the chase to be able to win the championship. So I think to come from that far behind, they're going to have to win several races, and I just don't see, as much as I would love, like every other race fan in the world, to see Dale Earnhardt Jr. win a championship, I don't see them being able to do it because they're going to have to win 2, maybe even 3 races in these final 9. And I just think that's kind of a big number for both of those race teams to achieve. Now, if this was Jimmy Johnson or Matt Kenseth or Kyle Busch, I think, yeah, you could say maybe they still do have a shot. But I think for Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Joey Logano, from where they're at right now, it's going to be very difficult.
Uphill battle for both of them. We're going to New Hampshire.
Yeah.
Who are you picking to win?
Well, I'm going to go with a guy who I was impressed with at Chicagoland, finished better than I thought he would at Chicagoland, and that's Jeff Gordon. He's always strong at New Hampshire, always strong at this type of racetrack. Clearly had a ton of speed at Richmond, but I think they're going to be very good this weekend, and I think they're still having that attitude, Alan, that they have nothing to lose, and why not? I mean, they're always good at this type of racetrack. They might roll the dice, and we're going to see all kinds of crazy strategy. Guys taking right side tires, guys taking left side tires. They may take 2 tires all day long at New Hampshire, but I just like Jeff Gordon this weekend.
I am 1 for 1 in the chase, as you pointed out, and I'm going to be 2 for 2 because I'm picking Gordon's teammate, Jimmy Johnson. Not a hard pick here, but you know, with all the stuff before the chase, throw that out the window. We saw that he's back. He had a strong run in Chicagoland, and if there's ever going to be a spot, you mentioned it, Matt Kenseth's weakness, maybe in the chase, it's got to be here for New Hampshire for Jimmy Johnson to take advantage of that because he's good on this track. Previous winner, we know his record there, and if he's going to beat Matt Kenseth anywhere, he's got to do it at this track this weekend, so he's going to win this weekend.
Well, and those Hendrick guys tested at New Hampshire, too. You got to keep that in mind. So they'll have a little bit of an advantage over the Gibbs guys who did not test at New Hampshire, and it's, again, not one of his better racetracks.
We both pick Hendrick drivers. We'll see who's right.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, well, that does it for the preview show delivered by FedEx Racing this week. For Marty Snyder, I'm Alan Cavana. Have a great weekend, everybody.